Edward, and I'm here with my team, John and Daniel, and we are from the Green Planet Conservation Initiative. So what we do basically is, I hope all of you can hear me, you can understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir.
So basically what we'll do is that we'll try to educate students, we go around schools, we educate students on the importance of climate change. How many of you know what climate change is? Have you heard of climate change before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now. Okay, but before I go into that, I have to define key concepts so that you get an understanding of what I'm talking about. How many of you know what weather is? Weather. You know what weather is, right? Okay. No, weather is actually a short-term condition in the atmosphere. In a short-term condition in the atmosphere. So what that means, that short-term changes in the atmosphere. So what that simply means is that there are some changes that occur in the atmosphere within a short period of time, like the way the wind blows, the way the sun shines, the way we have precipitation, that's the formation of rain, the way we have humidity around the atmosphere. All these are things that occur in the atmosphere within a short period of time. So when it occurs, we say that's the weather condition. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You have the concept of what weather is now?
Yes.
Okay, now what then is climate? You've heard of climate before, right? Okay, now climate is a long time weather pattern in a region, usually over a period of time, not less than 30 years, minimum of 30 years. So when there's a particular weather pattern that has maintained a consistency over a period of time, minimum of 30 years, it becomes the climate of that place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I said climate is a long-time weather pattern in a region over a period of time, usually for a minimum of 30 years. It becomes the climate of that place. Do you understand? And the United Nations actually define climate as the average weather pattern of a place within a period of 30 years. So what then is climate change? So climate change is a shift, is a long-time shift in temperature or weather pattern. What that means is that there's actually a consistent changes in weather pattern or in the temperature over a period of time from the normal to the abnormal condition. Do you understand? Are you following?
Yes.
Just give me your listening ear. If you have a question, you ask after my teaching. Do you understand? So I said climate change is a long-time shift. It's a long-time shift in temperature or in weather pattern. So when I was trying to explain what I mean by shift, it means that there's an abnormal changes from a normal condition that we used to have to an abnormal condition. Do you understand? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Like when there's a rise in an unusual, like the atmosphere, the way God created this atmosphere, there's a particular temperature it maintains. When there's a rise in that temperature above the normal temperature, it becomes a change. It becomes a climate change. You understand?
Yes.
You have the understanding now, right? Then, what then causes a climate change? Now, there are some climate change that is actually caused by the activities that is caused naturally, like the activities of the sun. You understand? The way the sun shines, the activities, what happens in the sun can actually cause climate change. The majority of the changes that occur as a result of the majority of the changes that causes that climate change is actually as a result of human activities. What we do as humans, that's what causes climate change, majority of our activities. And what are these activities? In fact, it has been proven that 75% of our activities actually, 75% of the climate change is actually caused by human activities. Like, these activities can be like the burning of fossil fuel. How many of you know what fossil fuel is? Have you heard of fossil fuel? Okay, now there's fossil fuel are actually fuel that are sources of energy that are gotten from oil and gas or from coal. How many of you have heard of coal? Coal is a mineral resources that is mined from the earth. You understand? Now, when I talk about oil and gas, I'm talking about crude oil. You understand? You know what crude oil is, right? Nigeria has crude oil in abundance, and that's one of our sources of revenue. So, from crude oil, when crude oil is being separated, we'll have petrol, that is fuel. We'll have diesel, we'll have kerosene, we'll have other gases again that comes out of it. Do you understand? Are you following? So we'll call crude oil and gas because from crude oil you get oil. From it you also get gas from it. Are you following? Yeah, so when I say fossil fuel, I'm talking about oil and gas. That's crude oil and from coal. Coal. Do you understand? Now coal is actually a mineral resource that is mined from the earth. Yeah? And in the time past, I know most of you were not born when we used to have train. It's being powered by that coal. But the coal looks like charcoal. Do you understand? It looks like charcoal, but that one is hard. It's actually a hard substance. Do you understand? Even charcoal itself, when you cut down trees and burn them, they actually also causes that climate change because they release gases into the atmosphere. Now, how does fuel and coal cause climate change? When you burn fuel or you burn diesel, it releases gases into the atmosphere. You know, we use petrol or fuel in the car, right? We use fuel in the car, and when you use fuel in the car, it burns through a process of combustion, and it releases gases, dangerous gases into the atmosphere. Are you following? Yes. Then diesel also. Diesel is also used by big trucks. You know, big trucks, big lorries. They use diesel, and sometimes we call them gas. Yeah? That's a common language. So when you burn them, they also release gases into the atmosphere, and those gases are dangerous gases. They are the gases that actually cause climate change. Are you following? Then same thing with coal. When you burn coal, it also releases gases. You understand? Then when you burn things like when you cut down trees and burn them, they also emit gases into the atmosphere. Do you understand? And those gases are the gases that causes change in the weather, that causes climate change. Now, let me explain further. Now, there are something we call greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases. These gases are gases that tend to cover the atmosphere. They cover the atmosphere like a blanket. And what they do is that they allow the heat from the sun to come in, but they don't allow the heat from the sun to escape. Do you understand? So such gases are gases that we call them greenhouse gases, and they are actually gases that are emitted from this from fossil fuel. Do you understand? There are some of those gases that are actually emitted from the burning of fossil fuel. When you burn petrol, you burn diesel, you burn coal, they emit gases, and those gases that they release, they are the gases that we call greenhouse gases because they contain carbon dioxide. One of the major causes of climate change is carbon dioxide. So when you burn fuel actually, when it burns through the process of combustion, it releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And that carbon dioxide tends to go to the atmosphere and form what we call greenhouse gas. Do you understand? It covers the atmosphere. And when it covers the atmosphere, it does not allow the heat from the sun to escape. Do you understand? So it forms like a blanket over the atmosphere. So what that causes is that if the heat from the sun is not allowed to escape, it causes the warming of the temperature. And that leads to what we call global warming. Do you understand? Are you following? Yes. Is it confusing? No. Okay. Now it causes what we call global warming, meaning that the atmosphere is warming normal than the usual temperature. Do you understand? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, let me explain this. Let me use an example so that you understand better. When you bring a glass cup, and you bring a candlestick, and you light up the candlestick, and you cover that candlestick with a glass cup. Now, within the atmosphere of that glass, something is going to happen. Who can tell me? within the air around that glass, something is going to happen. What will happen?
Becomes toxic.
Hmm?
Becomes toxic.
It becomes toxic. Okay. No, okay. Generally, what will happen is that the atmosphere becomes hot. You understand? The air within that place becomes hot because the glass is acting as a cage. It doesn't allow the heat to go out. Do you understand? The heat that is actually generated from the burning of the candle, it will not be able to escape. So, and as such, what happens is that the atmosphere, the air within that candlestick will become hot. So that is an example of what happens in the atmosphere when those greenhouses are being released. Do you understand? Those greenhouse gases act as those glass. They act as the glass. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you have the idea now? They act as the glass, meaning that the heat from the sun can come in, but it cannot escape. So when that happens, it now causes the temperature of the earth of the atmosphere to become warmer than necessary. Do you understand? And research has also proven that since the advent of the Industrial Revolution, that's when industries started coming into being and started, springing up here and there, that the earth has become warmer than its usual temperature. In fact, the research has actually proven that the earth has actually increased in temperature by 1.1 degrees Celsius than the normal temperature. Do you understand? Are you getting my point? So meaning that since industry started coming into being, started springing up here and there and all that, in industries, a lot of industries do manufacturing, production, where they burn diesel, to run their production. They also do a lot of production activities that entails releasing gas into the atmosphere. I hope people are following. So ever since then, it has been proven that research has actually proven that those activities has actually increased the temperature of the earth. Do you understand? So it has made the temperature of the atmosphere to rise above the normal temperature. I hope you're following. Okay. So and the research has also proven that in the past, in fact, from 2010 to 2020, the temperature of the earth, the temperature of the atmosphere became warmer. In fact, became the warmest ever since the creation, as in ever since a record started having it. Do you understand? It became the warmest from 2010 to 2020. The atmosphere of the earth became very warm. It became the highest in terms of temperature rise. I hope people are following.
Yes, sir.
So what really do we need to do in order to adapt this point? That is why we, as an organization, we basically move around to educate people so that they will understand what climate change is and what they need to do to mitigate that effect. Now, part of the thing, let me also let you understand that part of the things that also this climate change because there are also effects. There's also consequences of these things. One of the things it causes is that it causes, a rise in temperature. When the atmospheric temperature rises, it causes this disease tend to spread when the atmosphere is warmer. I hope you are following. So when the temperature of the atmosphere becomes warmer, diseases tend to spread more. Do you understand? It tends to transfer from one person to the other more. Then also it causes flooding. And that flooding also leads to food scarcity. When there's flooding, people cannot grow their food any longer, or it destroys even the one that is being grown. Do you understand? So most times when you hear about flooding, they will tell you there will be shortage of food, there will be shortage of food because of flood. Do you understand? So in some areas it causes flooding. Then in some areas, again, in some environment also, it causes drought. That's lack of water. Do you understand? So then there are so many things. It also causes rise in the sea level, rise in water level, the sea level. The sea, once it's heated, temperature of the water rises above its normal level. You understand? And there are also aquatic animals that live in the sea that depends on the sea. So once that temperature rises above, it also affects those aquatic animals. You understand? Then there's also a place, there's in the, for some of you, I don't know if you did geography, there's the Arctic pole. That's in the earth, yes. When you take the shape of the earth, when you have the earth, there's a place that we call the Arctic pole. That place is usually frozen. It's usually made up of ice. But because of this climate change, those ice are melting on daily basis. Do you understand? Those ice are melting on daily basis because of the change in the atmosphere. Do you understand? Are you following? Yes. And you know, if we don't address it now, it will continue to get worse and worse and worse. So what are the ways that we can address this? Now, part of the things we do as an organization is to encourage planting of trees, flowers, and you know what they do? When you plant a tree, you know I told you one of the gases that cause that climate change is carbon dioxide, right? Yeah. Now, when you plant a tree, what does a tree do? Or a flower? It tends to absorb, you know, trees absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen for us to breathe, right? So when you plant more trees, more flowers, and other vegetations like that, they tend to absorb those carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they release oxygen. So they tend to balance those changes. You understand? Being caused by those gases. Are you following? They tend to balance those gases, those dangerous gases that are being released. Then another thing also that we also advocate for people to tell you that this climate change is actually a serious matter. Every year, countries all over the world gather to meet to discuss this issue of climate change. Last year, there was something we call Conference of the Parties. They met last year in Dubai. They call it Conference of the Parties. The one that held last year was COP28. That COP means Conference of the Parties. Do you understand? The one for last year, and it's been done annually. So the round of last year was 28. So they call it COP28. So what they discuss basically is to discuss issues surrounding climate change. What needs to be done in order to, even Nigeria went to be the delegation. They went with almost 1,400 delegations that caused too much problem in the country then. So what they do is that they discuss issues on climate change. So now one of the things that they came up with in this last one was that they came up with an idea, in fact a solution, that people should move away from the use of fossil fuel. They should move more to use of renewable energy. How many of you know what renewable energy is? Solar. Yeah, solar. Renewable energies are energies that are gotten from natural sources like the sun, the wind, the water. Do you understand? We call them renewable energies. And those energies are very clean. We call them clean sources of energy. And they are sustainable. You know why? Because they don't emit harmful substances into the air. Do you understand? So they're also cheap because you renewable as you use, the thing is being replenished. Do you understand? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Are you following?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, what we advocate for now is that you plant more of trees, more of flowers, other vegetations. Then we move away from the use of fossil fuel. But I know Nigeria for now, it might be difficult for us to move away from that because for now we have not gone advanced. Now we can be getting other sources of energy. Do you understand? But with time, we move away from that and move to a better energy sources. Are you following? So, I will ask a question to know if you are actually following what I've said so far. Should I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who can explain who can tell me what weather is? Okay.
Weather is the present changeable condition of the atmosphere.
Very good. Very excellent. Very good. Okay, who can explain what climate change is? Climate change. Okay.
Climate change is the long-term changing of condition between weather and temperature.
Very good. He has an idea. In fact, he got it. You put it in his own way. In fact, these are excellent answers. So what? Who can give me an example source of climate change? What causes climate change? From what I've seen so far. Hmm? Hmm? Fossil fuel. We call them fossil fuel. Yes, very good. Very good. Very good.
Burning of coal.
Burning of coal. Very good. Very good. Rising something. There's something that causes the rising. Hmm? Okay. Okay, that's very good. Okay, now I talked about solutions to the climate change. Who can give me what we can do to reduce climate change? Okay. Planting. Very excellent. Very excellent. I love that. I love you're raising your hand. Okay. Who else again? I mentioned two things. Okay.
The use of renewable energy.
Very good. In fact, this your brain is like okay. Clap for yourself. You've actually done very well. At least you understand what I've been trying to explain. I get it. Okay. Huh? Okay. Okay.
Some of us here don't actually understand. Is it that when we go to the filling station and buy fuel, we burn it? Or is there any object that can be burned and is known as fuel?
Okay, now what okay, first okay. What I'm going to
Come.
asking is that burning of fuel really wants to understand what we mean by burning of fuel. Okay, like when I was trying to explain some things, I said something. I said that fossil fuel are fuel that comes from oil and gas, right? And from coal, right? Yes. Okay. Now, and I said first, oil and gas represents crude oil, right? And from crude oil, you get so many things from crude oil, right? You get fuel, you get diesel, you get kerosene, you get other petroleum products. Do you understand? You even get coal tar. You know this coal tar, they use bitumen. You also get it from crude oil. So many things actually comes out from crude oil. And I was talking about burning of fuel. I said burning of fuel, we don't just burn fuel like that. Fuel is burned through, when we use cars, through a process called combustion. The fuel burns inside the chamber. Yes, inside the chamber in a car, and it produces gas into the atmosphere. Do you understand? It releases gas into the atmosphere. And that gas that it releases into the atmosphere is what causes what we call greenhouse gases. Do you understand? Yes. It's what we call greenhouse gases. Because, and also diesel. When we burn diesel also, you know diesel, what diesel is? That is being used by a big truck. When you drive them, you fill them up with diesel, right? And they too burn through a process of combustion and releases gas into the atmosphere. And once they release those gases into the atmosphere, what they do is that those gases are harmful. Do you understand? Those gases are harmful, and that's what causes the green. That's what we call the greenhouse gases. Do you understand? So do you have any other? Do you have understanding of what we are saying now? Do you understand? Okay.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So you said that we should try to be using more cleaner energy.
Yes.
Like renewable energy, solar and stuff.
Yes.
But we have cars, like things that help us to move around. How do we convert those renewable energy into our motorized vehicles?
Okay, like when I was saying something, I said for Nigeria now, we've not gotten to that extent. We are still moving. You understand? In Western nations now, they've developed cars that drive on electricity, solar. You charge those cars using solar energy. Once the energy goes down, use solar to power them up. It means that in those kind of countries, they've gone from the use of fossil fuel to a better energy source. Do you understand? Yeah? Are you following now? So, but in Nigeria, we are still developing. We've not gotten to that extent. You understand? But what we are even advocating in Nigeria here is that we'll try to even plant more of the trees here. Since we have not gotten to that extent, let's try and plant more of the trees, so that those trees will actually will take in the carbon dioxide that is actually causing that problem and release oxygen to us. Do you understand? Then there's another way again. In some countries like China is highly populated. Do you understand? They have a population of about 1.2 billion people. And if everybody is supposed to drive a car in that country, it means that the number of dangerous gases that will be released is too much. So what they encourage in such places is that they encourage the use of bicycles. Do you understand? People don't usually move around with cars. Even in India, it happens in India. There's a kind of bicycle that has a carriage that they drive. Some of you that watch movies, you must have seen it. They develop a kind of bicycle that has a carriage at the back, so it can carry people. So with that, it doesn't produce any gas. You understand? It only requires energy for you to ride it. Do you understand? So that kind of practice is a practice that is actually moving away from the use of fossil fuel. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it now?
Yes.
So that's what we are saying. We are in Africa or the other developing countries. We are still growing. We've not started having electric cars here, but outside the country, like Western nations, some of those cars are already in place. They started using them. Do you understand? And part of the thing is that with time, they will grow. With time, all other countries will join them and migrate to that, the use of such renewable energy. I hope you're with me. Do you understand it now?
Yes.
I hope all of you actually understand what we're saying.
Yes.
Okay. So, and actually what we'll do is that wherever we go, try to present a gift to the students. In fact, most times what we'll do is that we'll select those ones that answer our questions. But the way it is now, we're going to share it to every one of you. Do you understand? So, for some of you, I know you already know trees. You've seen trees. And this is an example of a tree that you can plant that absorbs the carbon. Do you understand? It absorbs carbon, then releases oxygen, which is actually good for human beings. Do you understand? So when we plant trees like this, once they grow, they tend to. In fact, one of the good sources of carbon, we call them carbon sink, things that absorb carbon from the atmosphere, is the forest. When you go to the forest, you see there's the way it looks like, even the kind of air you breathe there looks different. Do you understand? Because it's saturated with oxygen and all that. Do you understand? So we actually encourage, like for some of you, if you have a large compound, you can encourage your parents to plant fruit trees. Fruit trees. When I talk about trees that produce fruit, that one at least is economical. You can still benefit from it. You understand? So you can plant it in your compound, and as it grows, it's also protecting the environment. I follow you. Yes.
wherever you go, there will be no attack of the enemy. Nothing shall reduce in your hand. You continue to grow from glory to glory in Jesus' name.
Amen.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much.
We love you people by force.
Amen.
Remember us again.
No problem. No problem. We thank you people for giving us a listening ear. We also assure you that in our subsequent program also, so have a beautiful